So after I gained pretty much a little bit of success, fewer likes, and pretty much a little bit views from my previous custom figure I showed last week so far, I thought of that I should show more of my finished custom figures that were done but not yet put on review until I actually, well, made it ready to show what the figure's made from, its flaws, and how I made the process. So I made a simple custom repaint of Momo-San from the Boku no Hero series. I made this for sole purpose of if she gets a figure, I will not make it, but at the time of this recording, she has not got a Good Smile Figma style or anime heroes or McFarlane toys or even Mason Yamaguchi, so I got my slightest chance to actually make her so far. And funny story is that I have not used the body until I got a head from eBay, which is decent, which I coincidentally remember I got a body for someone else, but and turned it to a Momo-San figure. I actually put into production right about now as soon as I made it. So she is simply repainted as I stated slash a little bit sculpted. The head, however, is almost like modification, which I cut off the chibi body and then drill in the inside of the head as hollow as possible. And then glued and put a hot glue uh, rubber part almost entirely over her head, just so to put it in a hot cup of water and then have that thing to be running up for like a few seconds, and then stuff in there inside of the joint, the neck joint, which she can actually move, which I'm surprised it still function. So that's my decently success I've improved of. The skirt of her belt was actually memory foam. It may look like shit at first, but it's just my first attempt making a memory foam just like that. And I will say two of my major flaws. Well, one of them is biggest face of the figure, but my mistake is that I actually paint the belt of hers inside of it with yellow paint, but because I actually left it there for quite some time, like almost a year, the paint, however, got sticked up to the crotch of hers, which almost looked like she just got yellow paint of her by accident. I will fix that with no issues at all. But the major problem of this figure, because of the base, if you're going to plan to use a hobby base kit of a female body, always beware this pin discs were are actually been glued and ready to be used up for movement, and make sure the friction joint is not too tight. Otherwise, you lose a pin disc and lost it forever. Which I ended up using a fodder bin of my glasses repair kit of a tiny screw, just have it drilled in as little bit deep, and to get that thing little tiny screw just screwed in and make sure the friction still works. Which sort of slightly, but the gap is still present right here. Which is my biggest gripe I couldn't improve on, but I just didn't know what this body is made from. And even before recording this, this joint, almost this pin disc joint, almost got lost. And as you can see, if the camera can focus, almost lost on me. So I had to split two joints, get the super glue as little much as I could, and then get the pin disc connected along the other one and make sure the friction still works. Which it does, but the brittle has caused of it a little bit too much, almost like it's going to break. So that's my major flaw of this hobby base kit. And forgive me if the skirt was pretty much loose. That's because, like I said, I'm just trying to hollow the skirt as best as I could and reveal some not so safe for work for from being a platform of YouTube. That was my fault. I was just focusing review. And damn it, I wish I could glue it, but I don't want to. Overall, I love this figure, and evenly, I love this custom simple repaint. She is fun to repaint it with so far, and she does have a few amount of accessories. She came with this uh, fewer poses of her hands. Some were clutched, some were two peace signs, open hands, and these two are actually meant as neck replacements, or just different necks for the body. And also, I also made a little wood stick, turned it into a spray painted metal rod. I wish it was metal, but then I remember metal could actually be over top notch the joints, so she could pretty much do some little bit posing with it. She could pretty much do this. Surprisingly, hold up for a moment there until it fell. And she could pretty much do this, the Jackal pose trend. It's about to be 2 years, so hell with it, I guess. And she could pretty much do this, the way I only think of her doing that pose. And even the meta is gonna be a little bit during her growing the skirt then, but then again, I'm doing exactly the same shit. But yeah, she could pretty much pull some of the poses. The only thing flawed is that some of the ball joints and some of the pegs were pretty much loose, so be wise with that if you're gonna pay this figure. So yeah. And how there she is scaled with the other figures I made so far. Well, one of them I actually did some repairs. The other one is just simple repaint. Here's next to Kirito, which is a authentic figure. He's pretty much shorter than her. And here's my McFarlane toys of Deku. Now, for this one, I wish I wanted to review with him, but I have two of them, so this is the head I actually swapped that with Tomi's keychain because original head of his was pretty much shit, so I replaced it with that with a more fitting style. And yeah, scaled with Momo's. I'm not sure it's pretty much identical to the show of the scale comparison of their height, but at least I got a second version of him that pretty much works to the smaller scale, which is not Figma sadly, but I guess as much just my collection how it is. So yeah, overall, I like this figure. Like I said it before, she pretty much hold up for display. And if you want to go for it of getting her, I would say get a father bin of a Figma feet. If you're looking for a almost high heels, the head is official. The body you can look for Amazon, and she's pretty much fun. I like her so far. And I even took one photo just for safe for just for safe for the trend. If I'm gonna do that, that of course. But yeah, I know I'm being clumsy. I'm just recording this in the middle of the night. I don't know. I'm just pretty much bored. But yeah, that's my Momo-San from the Boku no Hero series. Even though I'm being a little bit saucy for a moment there, but I just like the figure. I just like the figure to mess with and love the character. So I want to draw her so badly. So yeah, that's my mobile, everyone. Hope you like it.